I Want to Jump Like Dee Dee, with me, Giles Sibbald, is the music podcast that does music a bit differently. I'm talking to some incredible musicians, DJs and producers about how they use an experimental mindset to fuel their own creativity, pursue new challenges, overcome fears, bounce back from mistakes. I'm going to ask for a bit of indulgence to start with, as I'd like to start with a quote from an interview that my guest gave in 2016. Don't worry, it's not that scary. The message we hope to convey through the album, this was their debut album, is one of inspiration and discovery, a discovery that we may not be who we think we are, that this peace we seek may already be present if we just take time to sit in our own inner stillness. This album is really about moving beyond this divided idea of the world. Now, when you stick this sort of self-awareness and willingness to look inwards and to be selfless alongside a music that brings together influences from, musicians like Stevie Wonder, Muddy Waters, Free, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and then for me, bear with me here as well, taking in some of those 90s influences like Soul Asylum, Pearl Jam, Collective Soul. It's a pretty sort of beautiful mix, and one that has grabbed me, I'll be honest, when I wasn't really expecting it. And we need more of those sort of lovely surprises. So I'm really, really delighted that Keith Xander of Xander and the Peace Pirates is here with us today. So Keith, welcome, and thanks so much for coming on, man.
Oh, mate, thanks for having me, Giles. Thank you, man.
Not at all. Peace and all that, yes.
Peace, man. Peace and love. Oh, awesome, man. Thank you. Oh, that was a lovely intro. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's good that research actually sort of pays off.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy with the result. Can we finish now?
You did well. No, it's awesome, man.
So we've got the you've got the new album coming out. Big stuff happening. I know it's 6th of May for the US. Is that the UK as well?
That's right. Yeah, 6th of May. It's getting released. We've got the album launch in the Zanzibar in Liverpool, which is
brilliant.
Town, on the 7th.
Yeah.
So we will have copies of the album there, and then we got another gig straight after that the next day in Bilston as well. So we'll be selling the album there as well. So, and obviously online, and so it's all good, man. We've got a few singles out now, and another single coming out soon, Order Out of Chaos, which is ready to pre-save if you want to pre-save. Pre-save link. That's
an awesome song, that, actually. I mean, they both are. I mean, the album is terrific. It really is.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And obviously,
the
single that's out now, I think I reckon, because I used to live in Liverpool years and years and years ago, and like my daughter's living there at the moment. I think I recognise the setting for the video, which is a great video, by the way. It's really good.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, Mike, a guitarist and producer and engineer. He's a wizard. Films, everything. A master of all trades.
Master of all trades.
Yeah. He is. Yeah. He came up with the idea to do it in the Welsh Street. So that's in Liverpool. Yeah. I mean, it became like a bit of an art installation. Like obviously the art biennials here, don't they? And it turned into a piece of artwork really for a while.
Yeah.
But it's a great setting for that kind of, order out chaos kind of vibe. The chaos of war and the mind.
So it's kind of been about what sort of 6 years since your debut. So I mean, kind of what's your sort of journey been like since then? Obviously, there's been 2 years, I think, that as we kind of know about, but sort of since the debut.
Yeah. Since the debut of the band? Since
the debut record. What's your sort of journey been like?
Oh, the 1111.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a cool beginning. We got a deal with Gibson, so basically we got sponsored by Gibson. So that album came into fruition through going over to play for Gibson. First of all, it was in Las Vegas. They found a video of ours online. Henry Jesuits, the CEO, found a video. Parts of us, and I didn't even play Gibsons, which was strange. I usually play Strats, and I happened to have my Strat in the workshop getting fixed.
Yeah.
And I was getting like a synth pickup put into my strap.
Yeah.
Getting it all rewired and stuff. And so I used the SG, my old SG, and and that video, it was just all seemed to fall into place. So somehow it was all synchronized. And then that led on to the album 1111. We met a guy who worked at Whistleord Studios in Holland, and recorded the album there. Yeah, so that was an amazing chain of events that just. The strange thing was as well, before we ended up going to Las Vegas, before the call and even the video, is I was looking through Gibson custom shop guitars, just looking at them for months before that. So that was a bit of a strange one. Yeah, so sort of the manifestation stuff, Yeah, but then is there a choice in any of that? That's the question.
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so like, kind of like through your music. I mean, I guess that the giveaways in the name of the band, but the sort of the themes that are sort of coming through in sort of what you write about, like I sort of said, it's about sort of looking inwards and this sort of like extreme sort of selflessness. Self-awareness, which I think those kind of attributes to have in sort of human beings are just like so important to
absolutely
for us to kind of move forward. And I can tell them this is like so important for you.
Well, it's everything, because I feel like the person that we take out self to be, it is not separate from anything else. It's not in reality. When you look inside, I mean, there's something called, you might have heard of it, self-inquiry. So Ramana Maharshi talked about self-inquiry, where you look inside, and it's immediately apparent that there's no solid foundation of yourself. There is no actual separate self. So straight away, anyone can do that, but obviously that's not a satisfactory thing to discover, because that means that I'm nothing. I'm not a thing, which is obviously then you get into the Holy Spirit and basically what the Bible's talking about, that you're this infinite being that just creates infinitely and somehow beyond our personal choice, because there is no real free will. So a lot of the music is coming from that space of effortlessness, that this is effortlessly happening, and then the person just gets in the way, basically. Which we find all the time, that we're battling with ourselves, that this self that isn't even really real, it's a construct within energy, really, within free energy that's just arising naturally by itself, like a tree or a plant or anything. And then there's this person going, but what about me?
Do you know, it's really interesting, and sort of I don't know, maybe it's kind of like serendipity. But I was listening to this this sort of podcast the other day. It was from the Ezra Klein show, which was like New York Times, and he was interviewing this guy Richard Powers, and he won a Pulitzer Prize in 2019 for this book, The Overstory, and he's either just brought out or it's coming out a new book called Bewilderment. It's basically like about a sort of like a neurodivergent kid who sort of, instead of like looking internally, which is what we do, it's like kind of looking internally. So it's a very kind of capitalist way of sort of looking at things. He looks externally. And he's thinking about kinship, about how we have kinship, not just with sort of human beings, but with every sort of part of nature, like, kind of trees, plants, animals, we're kind of like all as one. And he said that his view is that if we can see ourselves as part of that, as part of a whole, then it kind of releases the anxiety that we have when we're just looking inwardly.
At a center that isn't there. The center isn't there because obviously we know from our own experience that we can't find ourselves. We can find a body, and we see the surface, but what we can't accept is that the self is just contracted energy happening in the body, and that contracted energy is not solid, it's not real, but
Yeah.
it gives the effect of being real. So therefore, I feel like I'm in the body and the world is out there, and I have to contend with the world. Like what you're saying is true. Is this when we look externally, it's a bit like looking within, but in a different way. It's
In a different way. Yeah.
yeah, it's like focusing on everything that's within the space of what you are,
Yeah.
which is not separate things, but it's a very I think Einstein said it's a very persistent illusion.
Yeah.
You know, so
He,
yeah, it's,
he sort of gave this example as well, which I'd heard about the trees and sort of mycelium and how they basically kind of like sort of share resources. And I
yeah,
think this is just like fascinating for sort of like humanity really, about how there's even like
yeah,
there's not just sharing between individual species, there's sharing sort of across species when they see like one tree is
yeah,
suffering from lack of
yeah.
minerals or certain resources. There's this kind of sharing going
Yeah, it's
on,
like
and we can
a
just learn so much
neural
from it.
network, isn't it? Yeah, the
Yeah.
mycelium, it all communicates.
Yeah.
It's communicating because it is all it's everything, isn't it?
It's everything. Yeah.
Everything is everything, and I
Yeah.
think to try and conceptualize that, or to try and understand it, or to put it into a book, it. I mean, it already is everything. Everything is already everything.
Yeah.
So the smallest thing to the hugest thing is the same.
Mm.
We don't think in that way as a personal,
We
a
don't.
personal self. We think in categories and ideas and beliefs, which are, and for them to be called into question is quite offensive to
Totally.
to that sense of self that feels separate, because it's always trying to protect its position,
Yeah.
and what it can't accept is that that position isn't real. That there is no position, and there is no
Yeah.
role, and there is no reason or purpose. It just is,
It just is.
and that's freaky. I think at first I mean, it was for me. I was like, there's no meaning or purpose other than what we assign it, and that is
Yeah.
so tiny and meaningless within
Sort of
itself.
mean.
Yeah, but it seems
This
so
is it.
complex, and it's
It is.
powerful.
It is almost like, yeah, you're absolutely right with that. And I think that's a really good point about us sort of really being meaningless. We tend to think that ourselves. I guess that humans are the kind of the center of things, and that and it's like that all the
Explains a lot,
the
doesn't
kind of
it?
we're just it does, it explains a hell of a lot. That we kind of like that everything else is to support our
Yeah,
growth and our kind of
yeah,
power and stuff like that. And when you start to think about it in a different way, it's kind of like it is a bit. I mean, I guess we're not conditioned to think that way.
no. Well,
Society doesn't allow us to in lots of times.
we're raised by mostly raised by people who feel that there's somebody important, and
Yeah,
that life is about them getting ahead and winning something or getting something, and to
yeah,
discover that there's nothing to get, and there's
yeah,
nothing to grasp, because everything is empty yet full in
yeah.
its
Full.
nature. It's absolutely full, and but yet it's not graspable, because it's free, isn't it?
It's
Life is
free.
free
Yeah.
until the person goes, well, that's mine,
Mm,
and tries to own a thought or a feeling, or own a piece of anything. It can't keep it, so it's constantly in fear, and I think that's
yeah.
the biggest dilemma that humans face, is to completely let go of all of that.
Mm,
That's very scary, because that's death to the one that feels
totally.
it has something. It's
Yeah.
absolute free. It doesn't want freedom, because if it's
Yeah.
free, it will just be like a child again,
Mm.
and like, just go out and play.
And play.
Just go out and play and enjoy life, and I don't know. It's not got a choice in it. Obviously, it's just
Yeah.
choice to be unfolding. But obviously, yeah,
So that's a really good segue. I'm glad you did that. You did that. About you talking about sort of childhood and children. Sort of for you, sort of going back to when you were kids and sort of growing up. I mean, you've got an incredible sort of mindset. How did how did that evolve for you? As a kid, what were your sort of formative influences and
well,
what?
yeah. I mean, obviously, my early early sort of years were sort of spent a lot of time in nature and alone. So I grew up in the country, so I did spend a lot of time alone, which I think obviously freed me of some of the heavy conditioning, and I missed out on a lot of school because I'd always try and get out of school, pretend I'm sick or whatever, just do anything just to get out of school, or sometimes I would develop, coughs and things, like real, like I discovered the power of the mind. I was like, oh, I can make myself sick. So I started to understand, really, wow, this mind, what this elusive mind that I can't find, but like we were talking about before, is so powerful. It's again, that's everything, isn't it? Everything we're experiencing is what we call the mind, but we don't really know what that is. So there was obviously a lot of and obviously as I got into my older years, I noticed how the mind would turn on you and things like that. But it influences, obviously music has always been a huge part, and messages in music, that's been a huge part of my journey. And obviously I had a severe accident, which again, that took me on another path of realizing that there is no death, there is no beginning or end, there is no separation. So I was getting quite a lot of glimpses early on. I remember having a glimpse where I was living in a place called Love Lane, actually, in Shropshire, in a little town called Wem, and I had this experience of what was looking out was everything. Like, so everything, what was seeing was what was being seen, and there was a very, very clear feeling that Keith was not real at all, that this character that I took myself to be was not a real character. It was a dream, like a dream machine, and that was quite scary, actually. I remember being quite scared because I didn't know what anything was for what seemed like eternity for a second.
Because our identity is like, it's, at every sort of stage of our life is really important, and if you start to feel that that's being eroded in some way, I mean, that must be pretty scary.
It was like, well, you feel like you're losing your mind because obviously you say someone, like, and I remember having to grip onto something because I felt my energy was like I was coming out of this contracted self. So I was getting many glimpses of this ultimate reality, if you want to call it. What I wouldn't call it. I can't put it into words, but there was a feeling of no separation, and that carried on through many experiences later on in life, and now I'm sort of just left empty, really. but not in a bad way, like
not in a bad way, no.
But sort of like everything's okay, even if it's bad for a while, it passes, and I think that's what it taught me. Having that serious accident, I ruptured my spleen, lost loads of blood, and collapsed my lungs, and that sent me, that sent me on a whole new path of opening up to this new perception of not knowing really what I am or what anything is, not having a solid knowing of anything, seeing knowing as a kind of a dream in a way. Just labels appearing to be those things, but those early years were very formative of who, obviously now it is the same for everyone, isn't it? Whatever your condition like, but
and music was music a sort of part of kind of like your upbringing in the in the household where you sort of grew up.
There was always music on, always the vinyl on. Ghostbusters, I used to dance to Ghostbusters, dance my ass off to Ghostbusters, and what do we have? Footloose
as well. Oh my god,
Kenny Loggins.
All the secrets are coming out now.
Loved all that. I loved all that. Still do.
There's no such thing as guilty pleasures. They're just all pleasures, aren't they? There's no guilt at all.
Yeah, all kinds. Yeah. Yeah, I remember music having a profound effect anyway on something deep within, the tingly
Mm,
feeling. I think a lot of people obviously can resonate with that.
yeah,
It's profound, how it affects us. Yeah, and I noticed that the tingles and the feeling of absolute bliss from listening to
yeah.
certain pieces of music, and it would just take you into another world, wouldn't it? Yourself, you know what it's like.
And did that sort of apply to like the stuff that the sort of music that you that really kind of hit with you was obviously sort of music, but the lyrics as well. Music sort of like lyrics play a big part in what you
Yeah,
listen to.
lyrics were
Yeah,
huge for me.
yeah,
Well, that's why I think Michael Jackson had quite a profound effect on me because his message
mm,
was all about unity and
yeah,
love, and I know he's been accused of all kinds of things, and I'm not sure. I don't know what
mm,
went on, but that was a side for me. That was coming from a deeper. I feel music isn't coming from anyone. I feel
mm,
it's channeled through, but it's not. Just like a tree doesn't compose itself, or a plant. It's done, isn't it? It's
yeah,
being done. Thy will be done.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is like that. I feel that everything is free will. It's free, but no one owns that free will and has it.
mm,
So no one's got control over that free will. It's free,
yeah,
and it's the will of the unknown, isn't it? And so I feel that with music, and I feel that's why it touches us so deeply because it is unconditional.
yeah.
Um, it's yeah,
I
powerful.
remember, I remember, like when I was. I mean, I kind of like grew up. I mean, my sort of first love was the Ramones, like, and kind of when I first heard them, I think it was Judy as a, it was Judy. In fact, it was Judy as a punk, and I was just like, kind of like that was like a life changer, just a
Yeah,
life changer. But then I really gravitated towards stuff that was music that was sort of political. That was
yeah,
just it was just always sort of in me, and I
yeah.
had a feeling that I got that from. I mean, my dad didn't like my music at all. He hated it because he was sort of classical, and he really hated it. But we had the same kind of view of life. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
the same sort of politics, and obviously that his ideas sort of rubbed off on me. But that the lyrics and what the music was saying was always a big part for me as well.
yeah. It's a huge. I always say like Stevie Wonder as well. Stevie Wonder's another.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan. Um, Even Joe Baez. I don't really listen to Joe Baez, but yeah,
Mm,
another one who's powerful lyrics. Yeah, any music with a powerful message always just hits my
mm,
soul, my heart.
mm.
When I
So,
say my, I don't know what that means really. I don't-
so I mean, you mentioned earlier that when you were younger, you were sort of spending a bit of time on your own. Like I mean, I did. I'm an only child, and I spent a bit of sort of time on my own. And you sometimes, think back. It's a good thing, bad thing. Like you said, sometimes you're kept away from some
Yeah,
influences, and you get it. You get used to your own, get comfortable in your own self. I
yeah,
find. I mean, that's the
yeah.
positive side of it. I found.
Yeah, I feel if you can be comfortable within yourself, then you're comfortable with anything really. And I think
Mm,
that's
mm,
a huge. It's a huge part of our journey is to learn to be alone. I feel
yeah.
is to just really be completely and utterly alone because in a sense we are because again we're only experiencing this oneness, this one being, whatever it is.
Mm, mm,
um and we can't find borders to it.
yeah.
We can't find edges to it. We can find edges to the body and and to the world, but what is happening within is all encompassing, and I feel that
Mm,
that is alone. It's all even the word alone is like it's like all one, isn't it? It's like it's
yeah,
all
yeah,
one being expressing as this apparent multiplicity. So yeah,
yeah,
I found being alone really tunes can tune you into that.
mm,
It's almost like a realization, isn't it? I suppose it's that yeah, I'm always alone in a sense,
yeah,
not in a negative way that the mind might say, "Oh, alone, you're lonely." But we are, in a sense, because you see a lot of people that they're in a room full of people and they feel alone. They don't feel that they're stuck in their own minds or stuck in some sort of worry. So they're still alone in that. No one can necessarily help them out of that tyranny that's going on that's going on in the mind, which is really all coming from that noise of being separate from everything else. It's a noisy state because it's always looking for something else. And this is all there is, but it feels like, there's something will come soon, and sometimes it does, doesn't it? Sometimes something will settle you down, and you'll experience something, you'll be like, that's made me feel better, but then it comes back again, and you start looking again.
Yeah, totally.
But there's a guy that I started listening to years ago called Jim Newman, and he used to listen to Tony Parsons, and they both say the same thing, that there is no separation. There is no solidity, which quantum physics is already, confirmed, basically, that nothing's actually solid. There's no reality to that theory. But yeah, he says that what we truly long for is to stop seeking, is stop looking for something else all the time, because there isn't anything else, and to be, again, is to be completely in what's happening, which is what we are anyway. But obviously the mind comes in and goes, this is going to lead to that, and then it's got a whole.
Yeah, it's a good point, that actually, because that book, that Richard Powers that I mentioned earlier, that's one thing that he said, that when we look inward, we're constantly looking for the next thing. Yeah. As this kind of like idea of growth, it's like, kind of, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And it's almost like you're sort of chasing something that is just infinite. You're just never going to. Yeah. Kind of.
There's no bottom. Yeah. There's no. You can't get you can't get to the bottom of it. And I think that's the thing. There's a promise in a lot of these spiritual teachings that they're teachings, and they can make the prison of being separate for a while a little bit more comfortable, so they can help release the contraction slightly. Yeah. But nothing can really release that contraction, because the person itself is contracted. So the one that's listening often feels itself to be a real solid person. So when it's listening to that it's nothing, and that there's no separation, it can't. It just doesn't. It doesn't always reach that deeper essence, which is always just a peace and free, which is. And don't get me wrong. Even if the person does happen to fall away, and there's just freedom and everything's like being a child again, there's still going to be times where you get upset or depressed. I think that's the illusion that you're just in this constant, like,
sort of Zen state or something.
Yeah, so you're constantly blitzed out, and you're never going to have like any problems, which is it's just very sort of it's very spiritual, isn't it? It's sort of which is fine, but it's it can become like rather than it being about absolute freedom, which this already is, it can be about teaching someone how to be free, which I don't think you can do. I don't see how we teach anyone to be free when we're already free. Yeah. So,
how does this sort of way of thinking help you with your, like your own sort of, in what you do in your music, for example, or any part of your life, with your own sort of self-belief and confidence and things like that?
Well, I suppose in that sense, it taught me that there's nothing to lose, because there's nothing to gain, and I can't really get anything wrong, because I can't get it right, So
I love that.
So I'm not. There's no feeling of this has got to. I don't play music because I feel like it's gonna sell some albums, and it doesn't even really cross my mind any of the. But I'm not business minded at all. That's not to say there's anything wrong with being business minded. I wish I was, really, but. Would be a lot more successful, But yeah, it doesn't really happen here. Just yeah. So the music's just always just been something that a bit like a child, painting
Mm.
or sketching or or just banging on things and play it. For me, it's just a joy.
I mean, I
Um,
guess I get. Sorry, no, go on. No, go on.
no, go on. Yeah, yeah. But all the message is coming obviously out of this feeling to express um, that we can all be free. We can all be at peace because there is something within us, whatever we could call it, the spirit or the
Mm.
soul, or you could call it anything. It's already free, and that's not
Mm.
within. It's everything. It's not inside here or out there. It's all over the show.
Yeah. I mean that idea, which is allowing you to be, kind of free in your creativity. I mean,
Mm,
that's kind of like I guess a, a sort of great, kind of in a way, sort of counterculture. The sort of the counterculture movements from the sort of the '60s
mm,
and stuff. With Jim Haynes and of people really thinking for themselves.
yeah,
And using art, whatever form that art is,
yeah.
to to kind of free themselves and also to encourage others to do the same as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about free. That's all we seek is to be free. And I think that's why sometimes when people hear a certain piece of music, in that moment they might feel a little
Yeah,
less tension or maybe more. I don't know. It depends, doesn't it, on what the effect it has on each individual. But I think music is always speaking to something much deeper than we can perceive or
mm,
understand or know. And that's why it has such a profound effect, because that word profound it's
yeah,
beyond understanding. It's beyond it's almost beyond the senses, isn't it?
yeah,
It's calling something in us. Like I get it when I hear choirs singing sometimes,
mm,
or you can hear it in anything. But yeah, music, I feel, is like the closest thing to that unconditional love that we're all
yeah,
seeking, longing for.
yeah.
It's expressing from that space. And yeah, it seems to be beyond the person. Yeah.
Do you like for people to interpret your songs as they feel is
Yeah.
sort
Oh,
of right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about their
Yeah.
own self interpretation. Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's what people are doing anyway with everything, is interpreting
yeah,
things in the way that the only way they know how. So music's very much like that. It's they hear what they interpret it as, really,
mm, mm,
which I don't know. Obviously that just happens, doesn't it? It just appears to happen that someone feel, oh, it must be about this, or
yeah.
I think the message is quite clear in the lyrics, like the song like "We Cry" and "Leave the Light
Mm,
On's" about just taking time for homeless people. They're, it's all singing about this sort of coming home,
yeah.
coming back home to not seeing that seeing that there's no enemy, that
Mm,
there is no division, and the division is all created within that illusion of this is
mm,
mine and that's yours.
mm,
I'm sitting here and you're sitting there. That straight away there's a relationship that
yeah.
isn't happening, and there can be a struggle, a duality that
Mm,
happens, and then there's a struggle then, because it's like, well, that's separate from me, and I have to deal with that. I either bring it closer or push it away, which is still
yeah.
separating things. Which is obviously all choiceless. It's not like no one's choosing to do any of it. It's just like the heart's beating and the lungs are breathing and
Yeah.
things just happening by itself. But to even contemplate that this is a causal and not caused by anything, and
Mm,
the only thing we can say it's caused by is God. But then, is God in relationship? What is God? If God is
yeah.
if God is everything and all encompassing, and you know, down to the tiniest grain of sound, to the whole universe. Thank God is not something that is out there. It's something that is, it's the ocean, isn't it? It's like an ocean, an ocean of being, you know, and yeah, that can't be grasped.
Yeah, I think that the you know, the ideas of I guess the kind of words that are sort of used quite a lot, and you know what it's like with sort of language. Sometimes you sort of use words,
Yeah,
and people forget what they actually
tricky.
mean. You know what the sort of the true meaning is. But I think that you know, like authentic and
Yeah,
relatable. I think are actually really. I think they are thrown around sometimes as being like, oh yeah, we're really authentic, blah blah.
yeah, yeah,
But I really do think that's what people are looking for,
yeah,
because there's so much of that not around. The opposite that you kind of see from, you know, politicians or whatever, you
yeah,
know, and it's like, you know, people need to be able to kind of relate to.
yeah,
I think you know, as a, you know, for sort of like when I go to see a band, I want to really be
yeah,
able to relate to them
yeah.
and see
Yeah,
that and
it's
be
like
able to,
a resonance, you know. I mean, a
yeah,
lot of younger people and are looking at MPs and just there's no resonance there. It's like they're
yeah,
so far removed from that in that authenticity that they're all seeking to
yeah,
see in
yeah,
powers. You know, that they want to see someone who's a grounded whole
yeah,
human being, full of love and joy and peace. They're the ones that people want to be
mm,
truly led by, because then that leads them to their own inner sanctuary, which is always there, or
yeah,
outer sanctuary. We are inner, outer. You know,
yeah,
same,
yeah,
all the same thing. You know, it's yin and yang, isn't it? But
yeah,
yeah, I feel that that's the thing. The world is so the human world is inauthentic. It's
mm,
fake, and you
mm,
know, you're looking on social media. It's fake. They're censoring things. They're lying. You know, they're covering things up. They're
yeah.
telling you what they want you. You know, they're only allowing things that they want to be
They
seen on
want you
there.
to hear, yeah,
It's all very superficial and fake, and to be authentic in such a fake world doesn't look very successful.
mm,
Because if you're truly authentic, you're not looking for money or fame or recognition. You're just being. There's no you're not trying to be authentic. You just become you're naturally authentic because that's all there is that
yeah,
authenticity there. And I think that's a lot of the time people, it's uncomfortable being fake.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like, hi guys, this is my YouTube channel, and yeah, you know, and then
You
editing
think,
it all nice with
whatever.
some funny, you know, all that. It's just not real, is
Yeah,
it?
no, not
You
at
know, which
all.
is
No.
fine. I've got nothing against any of it. I think it's all amazing. It's like, wow, what's this now? What's all this TikTok business? What's going on? What's everyone? Everyone's nuts. It's brilliant.
I'm trying my best with TikTok. I don't think it's going very.
No, we've got to start posting videos up, apparently. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. That'll be the next thing.
apparently it helps. It helps.
It all helps. Yeah,
I don't know what. No, but you know, it's a tool, isn't it? But the way it's used, obviously, because we're living in quite a sort of superficial, fake
mm,
world society,
mm,
where people take money and things to be of value, you know, rather than life itself. You know, like
yeah,
trees, people, you know, chopping down millions of trees that are basically the lungs of the world.
yeah, for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
there's something very weird going on inside
mm,
people that they are. Um, then that's not that again. That's not. How can that be authentic
mm.
to destroy such beauty? You know. Uh,
I think as well, music can sort of play, you know, such a big part in um you know, bringing. It sounds a bit twee, but you know, kind of bringing people together. But I'm thinking more about, you know, like let's say for example, like across generations.
yeah,
You know, and and perhaps that's because there's more music these days that's bringing in different influences and fusing those sort of together, that it's giving,
Mm.
sort of younger kids an opportunity to look at, music from, kind of decades gone by, and also for the older sort of generation to learn from sort of the new influences, new kind of technologies or whatever that are kind of available as well, which I think is kind of quite exciting that it can
Yeah. I mean,
bring
it's
people
all
together like that.
it's a miracle, isn't it? It's a miracle. I mean, that I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
That I'm, through this thin, tiny. I mean, if
Well,
I
it's
just
a miracle I got it working for starters.
it's a miracle that it works. Yeah, it actually works. But no, I mean, there's nothing wrong with technology. I think it only becomes a problem like it does when it becomes divisive.
Yeah.
If it divides people or gets them to compete with each other. And
Mm,
there's a lot of positive stuff going on in these
mm.
on social media, but it does seem to be pretty much proven now that it's not good for our well-being,
Yeah.
and consuming a lot of our time and energy, when we could be putting it into other things that are probably of a lot more value for the for the for the sustenance of life in
Of
general.
life, yeah, yeah.
To because I feel we have an opportunity to really protect those who need help, and to really heal what's the damage that's been done. I do really feel that it's like any
Mm,
body, it's like a body, isn't it? It
yeah,
can heal, and I see this Gaia, it's like one body, isn't it?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
if we focus our attention on just simple things like picking up rubbish, go instead of just going and picking up some rubbish. If I find a bag, I'll pick up a load
Mm,
of rubbish. No, not because it makes me feel like a good person. It just seems natural to pick up the rubbish because it's on the floor, and
yeah,
what's it
yeah,
doing on the floor? There's bins everywhere, and things like that. So yeah, just little things. We don't have to be this massive savior. We don't have to be
mm,
this idea that we have to be like Jesus and the Son of God and all this, which is again,
yeah,
you've got to take all of it with a pinch of salt. It's a story. It's a
yeah,
beautiful story, but we're always just telling stories and believing that they're absolutely true. And really, the beauty's in just the little things, isn't it? Like going to
yeah,
the
it's
park
for
with
sure.
your kids, or
Absolutely.
the simple. I think so many people, with the way social media is now, want to be. It's great that they want to influence the world and make a positive change, and I don't see anything wrong with it. But yeah, I just think life can be just so simple
Simple, yeah.
and pure if we just allow it to be.
Could we just have just talk a little bit about Liverpool as well as
Yeah,
the kind of
yeah,
place? Because I mean I think physical environments are kind of
yeah,
important for you for
absolutely.
whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
what impact has Liverpool had on you?
It's what I love about it. I love the people here. I just love the humor, the
Mm,
lightheartedness. The accent,
mm,
I love everything about Liverpool. I love all the parks, and
yeah,
the fact it's got two cathedrals, two beautiful cathedrals. I mean, the Anglican Cathedral is just a miracle. It's
stunning, isn't it?
an
Yeah.
incredible building. The acoustics in there. We want to go and do some videos in there because the
Oh wow.
acoustics are beautiful.
Yeah.
And you've got Williamson tunnels where you know, they they would move all the slaves under the Williamson tunnels, so people
Yeah.
didn't have to look at them, which is just crazy to
Yeah.
think that went on in Liverpool. There was a huge slave trade here,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then you see all the positives that came out of that, So it's
Mm,
almost like it's crazy, because obviously so much great music came out of that
yeah. Yeah.
terrible thing, which is, I'm not saying it's good or good. It's certainly not good, but
Mm.
I just find it interesting how out of these terrible times, so much beauty can
So much. Yeah. Yeah.
arise, and so much inspiration. And
Mm.
it's like, well, there has to be a struggle. There's another guy, a mindfulness guy, Tich Nhat Hanh.
Yes, I know him. Yeah.
Love it. I love him, and I
Yeah.
love it. He talks about suffering being the mud For the flower to grow without suffering, we can't grow into who we truly are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love all that stuff, because he really is like a real teacher, isn't he? He's like I say that stuff can't be taught, but somehow, I don't know. It's just
He
the
kind
way
of managed to. Yeah.
it's like out of him. It was coming out of him.
I remember
Beautiful.
reading his book, The Art of Power. It was,
Yeah.
and I read it in about, I think it was like 2006, maybe. I read it, and I wasn't in a particularly good place at that time. And I read this book. It was all about inner power, and it was just like, I was just like, oh my god, it was there was stuff in there that is still with me, that I can I still remember and I still use. And it was probably my first introduction to mindfulness back then.
Yeah.
About just like you were saying earlier about how life is simple, and it's about taking time to enjoy the simple things instead of trying to do too many things at once. Just sit down and do one thing and enjoy it.
Yeah. Mindfulness is a beautiful a beautiful way to live. Just the realization that that all there is what's right here now. That's all there is, and that's everything. And I think mindfulness can, in some cases, open up that contraction, that feeling of I'm just a little me. Again, it gets you to focus externally, doesn't it? And when we focus externally and stop focusing on this little me, that really has no power. Really, it's a wave in the ocean, isn't it? It's just getting thrown around. It's got no choice in where it goes. It appears to, because it thinks, oh, I'm thinking, I had that thought, that's my thought, and now I'm doing this, and that's me, and I'm great, and or I'm a piece of shit. It depends what they want to say.
No,
I swear.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Awesome.
It's funny. I mean, kind of going back to the sort of the city thing. I remember, like, on an earlier episode, one of my first episodes that I did, Jess Dye, she lives in New York. Her band is High Waisted, and she'd said that New York became the fifth member of her band, which I thought was just like a brilliant way of sort of putting it. She was just like so like into the city and the energy that it kind of gave. And it's really weird how people react differently to somebody else. And it's like, I need to get out of the city. I need to be quiet. I need the solitude to be creative. It's weird how, like how our minds work and how we
exactly.
different times of our lives maybe as well.
Yeah, some people love it. They resonate with the city and the and that's their journey, and that's great. And or others like myself, I'd rather just go and sit in the forest, sit quietly. But then there's times where I love going into big crowds and being around positive energy and being in festivals. I love all that as well. So again, it's all just seeing it as a wonder, isn't it? It is a wonder
for sure.
And be like a child again, without too much heavy knowing of what it's all about. Needing to know what it's all about. What's this moment all about? It's like, well, just is, isn't it?
So with the band, how are you viewing it? Kind of like, are you sort of taking things day by day, or do you have a kind of vision for where you'd like it, where you want it to go, or your music generally? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the vision is obviously just to inspire people and to make them feel good and to entertain them. And as many people we can do that for. Not we're doing it for them. They're obviously, again, they're feeling it in their own way. They're experiencing whatever they're experiencing. I don't know what that is, but as long as people are feeling some sort of good feeling from it, then that's the job done, really. And as that carries on. I mean, I don't, like I say, I don't really expect it to have an end point or anything. Like that. That's it now. That we've made it. Because I don't. think if we look back over any band, then it never happens, does it? You know, they get obviously they're successful in that, but they keep going, don't they? And they'll either make more great music or they'll write some load of crap and everyone will not go to their gigs anymore. So hopefully that doesn't happen with us, but we never know. But yeah, but there's, I suppose, the real success is in how it makes people feel, and if it's some kind of therapy for them, and it inspires them to play, and you know, having one arm and playing guitar helps inspire people to see that they can do it too. Things like that, you know, all of that is really what it's about for me, is inspiration. Even that word inspiration, it's to be in spirit, isn't it? You know, that the tingles, you know, you feel inspired, and I want to do that. I want to play that. I want to write a song, you know, all that's what it's all about.
Fantastic.
You know, I love all that. I love inspiring people and making them feel like they can do anything, you know, and that you know, because that's what I love about anyone who comes into my experience. If they can make me feel that this is limitless and free, then I will listen to what they say, you know. And
I think that's a great way to look at it. You know, and again, that sort of shows the kind of the empathy, you know, that you have of putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. Well, how would you know, how would I feel? How would they feel? You know, which we generally don't do enough of. You know, and once you do, you start to understand the impact that your actions have. So I think that's a brilliant way to
empathy is a huge I mean, that's a huge healing tool. I mean, and it will be moving through this illusory time for humans. I think they'll see more and more power in empathy and compassion, and that actually by being kind and open to how someone else feels and being very sensitive can heal something in us too, because again, that's not two separate people. That's one energy experiencing itself as those apparent too. But I suppose it's that, you know, treat others as you'd like to be treated. That kind of thing. You know, those early commandments, aren't they? That I think Moses was one of the. Was it Moses? I think it was Moses. He wrote some commandments, and then. But yeah, obviously, you see that none of those people were religious. They weren't Christians, or you know, these were just people that it dawned on them that actually we're all brothers and sisters. That we're all one family. Even the trees are our family. Even the floor, everything is part of what we are. And even to call it apart is, again, it's divisive words. Words are so divisive, aren't they? They're so dualistic, because they're constantly speaking in, you know, negative, positive, feminine, masculine, and all of that is dividing, isn't it? So I think what we really want to be free of is the noise of our conditioned minds. You know, we really do. We don't want to be stuck in that all the time. Yeah.
Agree more.
Yeah, I can tell.
Keith, that's great. Thanks. That's been fascinating talking to you. Honestly, it's been.
Oh, you too, mate. You're
marvelous. Honestly, marvelous.
And, you know, everything you say resonates, and you know, I see that. I see myself in you. You know, that you know, that's it, isn't it? It's the more we see that, the more we see that we are what's looking out is that one, is the one that we're always trying to sit within.
I still find it pretty fascinating that you know, we've never met, and we can sort of sit here and talk. There's you kind of
amazing
that kind of connection and that sort of bond.
It's a beautiful thing, man. Yeah, I mean, it's everything, isn't it? To have these kind of conversations are the most, for me, they mean everything to me. To be able to have a conversation that's not just superficial and fake and really just not about anything important at all. That's not, you know, to be able to talk like this, for me, it's a beautiful opportunity, I suppose.
Thanks for listening to the show, and I really hope that you enjoyed it and that you'll tune in for the next episode. In the meantime, it would be really awesome if you could rate and review the show and also share it with any friends who you think might enjoy it.